Hey, folks, welcome to the pre show. I am your host, Scotty Roberts. This is my show. Obviously, I have feedback. That means it's playing over on YouTube on my computer. Boom, there, we got it. It's done. It's gone. No more feedback. How you all doing tonight? Just want to make sure everything's going the way it's supposed to here. Does it look too dark in here? I kept the room dark, but I got the lights on close up. So foreground lights, footlights. So hope you're all doing well today. I have been busy with all sorts of things today. Had to be busy doing, and still am not done with it. The I'm going to sign out of it here. As a matter of fact, keep me logged in. Oops, log in. So you've signed out. There we go. The whole North American Learning Institute for my anger management course. Those of you who have kept up with that story, I'll tell you a little bit more about it when we come on live. So just taking my anger management course. I have to do 8 hours of anger management, and I am through about 6.5 hours of it. So it's the dumbest thing I have ever had to do. Dumb reasons. So there you go. I'll tell you a little bit about it in a few. We got a minute and we go live over on the YouTube channel. So everybody hang on. Oh, why it's okay to feel lost. 5 principles of shamanism we're going to talk about tonight. Solving real world problems with getting lost. And I can get rid of that. I got to know how to do that. Oh, we're close. Here we go. In about, put my glasses back on. In about 20 seconds. So we're going to go dark. Everybody sit tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Hey, folks. Welcome to the program. I'm Scotty Roberts, your host. This is my show, the Intrepid radio program, right here on the Odyssey Radio Network, Subspace Odyssey Radio Network. And you can find us over at the radio station, Odyssey Radio. That's ODYSY radio.com. So come on over to hear just the audio version of this show. And if you're over there and you want to join the chat room and see a little video simulcast, come on over to my YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And you'll find the channel over there. And you'll also find, at least 1,200 archived shows in this, mostly this latest incarnation of this program. And so go on over and you'll find it. You can find us at Patreon if you want to support this channel. You can support it on YouTube. You can support it at Patreon. Patreon.com/Scotty Roberts. And you can watch this show everywhere, it seems, these days. You can watch it on Twitter or X. You can watch it on Facebook, several different places. You can watch it on, I don't think you can watch it on Instagram yet. That's just because I haven't put the parameters in. And of course, here on YouTube and on StreamYard. Wow, I almost pulled a Joe Biden there. StreamYard and also on Patreon. So thanks for being here. There's all the the blah, blah, blahing about the show at the beginning. And so everybody who's here, welcome. Randall Flagg, good to see you. Steph Cuervo Queen, Field Guy is here. And Elderberry, good to see you. And who else? We got Chuck Thurston, has not been here for a while, so it's good to see you, Chuck. Glad you made it in, shambled in here today. Chuck says, so when I tell someone to get lost, I'm really trying to help them. That's right. Getting lost, that's kind of a Buddhist thing, is getting lost to find yourself, even though it's become kind of a weird cliche that we don't use it a lot, but you hear it a lot, but it's not used by many people because they don't really know what it means to use it. But we've heard that before. Get lost to find yourself. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Before I do, I want to mention, if you've got a TikTok, go over. I know there's all the blah, blah, blahing about TikTok is this and that, and it's the other thing. Well, my daughters, who are very successful in business, they use TikTok all the time. And they said, Dad, you ought to use TikTok for this, use it for that. So I just started. It was Rainey that came to me about a week ago and said, let's get you going on doing some tarot readings, single card readings over on TikTok. Not cards specifically for specific people, but just do a card of the day. She said, come on, let's go film it. So we came down here to the studio. We filmed a couple of them, put them up, and they're doing all right. They're getting some good followership out there. I don't know what it is on the grand scheme of things with TikTok, but that first video did about 2,000. It was brand new. We've averaged about 800, a little bit more per view, per 1 to 3 minutes I do on these things. And so go over and take a look at them. You just look me up. I think it's just TikTok/Scotty Roberts, if I am not mistaken. And or you can go over to my Instagram. You'll see it there. You can go to my Facebook, and I've saved them or sent them over, shared them over there. So you can click on those if you want to see those. Be nice to have some familiar faces coming in and seeing those single card readings. Just saw something from Leslie over there on one of those readings, maybe even a couple of them that she's been to. So you are welcome to come on over. Field Guy says TikTok is the devil. I haven't seen him there yet, Field Guy, but if I do, I'll confirm it for you. So I know there's all kinds of stuff about everything. Michelle says, I am out with lanterns looking for myself. Emily Dickinson said that. Scotty, it will pick up. People like tarot. Well, thanks, Steph. I thought it was doing pretty good with those numbers, 800 a day. That's not bad, but we'll see where it goes. Tarot cards don't like me. I find them a little bitchy, says Chuck Thurston. You know, sometimes it can be. It's all about what the message is for you, I guess. And it depends on who's reading it and how they're interpreting them. I think you have to get, here it comes, a little lost in them to find out the meanings to things. And I have found that the tarot, they can be a little bitchy if you want them to be. I go along with you there, Chuck. But where I think that there are cards, we just did a card, was it today? The Eight of Swords. That is an extremely dark card. It's that card where it shows the woman who's blindfolded and she's bound around her upper body. And there are 8 swords sticking out of the ground, which signify obstacles, and she can't see her way through, and she's bound, and so on. And I said, it is a pretty dark or a bleaker card to begin with. And that might have been yesterday's card. I can't remember. No, that was today's. And so she, because sometimes I record them at midnight or 1 a.m, then I put them up early morning and the next morning, things like that. So I forget which one was the last one I did. And so that card, the thing about it, it can look kind of harsh at first, or bitchy, if you will. And you got rough times. You got rough times maybe because of some decisions you've made or something, and it's left you here. You don't know which way to turn, which way to go, et cetera, et cetera. And it's kind of a no card. If you're asking a single card for an answer on something, there's no yes or there's a yes or no there, and it's a no on that card because it's kind of negative. Can't find your way. You can't do this. But I have found the years I've read cards, which has been almost 40 years now. I started in 1986, 87, right in there, reading cards. And so I've been doing them ever since. And one thing that impressed me very early on with the Eight of Swords was the fact, first of all, swords is a suit of conflict. It's conflict you get, conflict you give. You're in the midst of conflict, but she can't see her way clear because she's blindfolded. She's got all these sharp obstacles in the way, and she's bound. But I said, if you look at this particular deck I had, and I've seen it on a couple of other decks, they're bound around the top of their arms, around their chest. And elbows and down, they're free. They can move. And all she has to do is reach up, grab that blindfold, and pull it down. Suddenly the way becomes clear. So I think we're blindfolded, but we're usually blindfolded out of the whole cloth from which we make our own personal blindfolds. Then we tie them on our heads and we go, oh my God, I can't see, I can't see. And we complain and whine about it when all we have to do, even when we're bound up and tied up, bend our arms up, take and lower the blindfold that we've put on ourselves. Usually because we're trying to get through something or understand something or block something out that's a bad thing. And once we've removed the blindfold, the way becomes clear and there's clarity. So where it can start as kind of a bitchy card, a dark card, it can end up as a fairly positive card. It's one that we have the ability to overcome at any rate. So let me take a drink. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's old water from this morning. In that one. Let's get the one with the ice in it. There we go. So I promised in the pre-show I would tell you that I've been doing had to do a court-ordered, a district attorney-ordered anger management program. So folks, in case my facade is too great, I am an angry person. And the district attorney imposed upon me anger management course, which is 8 hours long. Now, all of you may remember, let me refresh your memory, the thing I had to go to court for before Christmas. You remember last May, I had confronted a mother of a kid, a 5th grade boy who beat up my 2nd grade daughter. And the confrontation wasn't one where I went in bitchy and to bitch her out and to be angry and all that. I said, we got to talk about our kids and what happened, how to resolve this. And of course, she got in my face. Somebody else called the police because disorderly conduct. That whole 3.5 minutes at a ball game, not in front of the ball game. We were behind the bleachers, 200 people over there watching a ball game. We were in the parking lot, and the 5 people around us, somebody determined that the police needed to be called because 2 parents were yelling. Well, one parent was yelling, the other one was attempting to calm the situation down. So the cop called me the next day. I said, oh, well, here's what happened. And he had already gotten her statement. And so he said, you may or may not get a summons on this. Okay. I said, bring it. I said, the judge wants me to talk. More than happy to come in. So fast forward to sometime in August, and I'd never gotten a summons, nothing. Thing is gone and out of my mind. And there was some shady looking car parked in our neighborhood. I called the police on my daughter's behest. My then 11 and 8-year-old daughter, they were a little nervous about this strange car in our quiet little town. I called the police. I said, would you just take a look at it? We can't find anybody that it belongs to. Sure. And a half hour later, they came knocking on my door and said, well, we checked out the car. There's doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it. Probably somebody visiting here. And it turned out it was one of our neighbors. It was somebody visiting from the city. And I talked to them about it. I said, "Hey, sorry, nobody got any trouble. Police didn't even talk to them. I just told them, I called the police on that car just to make sure." "Oh, no problem." Well, then the police, when they're there, all of a sudden I see there's 3 cops, and I go, "Wow, you sent out the cavalry on this one." And they said, "Well, we got bad news. There's a warrant for your arrest." I said, I said, "Get out of here." I said, "You're kidding." I had come outside and I was standing on the driveway smoking, talking to the cops. And "Yeah, we got to take you in." I said, "Well, what's it for?" "Well, you didn't appear to court. You had a summons." I said, "Well, summons, do you know for what?" And he brought it up, and I said, "Oh," I said, "I never got a summons." As it turns out, and I've told this part of the story before, um, went I went, and he said, "I just have to drive you in. I think all you have to do is sign a piece of paper, and and they'll have your wife pick you up." Okay. So I went in, rode in the back of the squad car, like a good citizen does, and I get there, and this is of course when I find out. Well, you have to appear before the judge, and it's already 4:30 in the afternoon, so we have to keep you overnight. They strip searched me. They put me in orange, and somebody else's boxer shorts, or at least boxer shorts that had been laundered at least 100 times and had the look of it, dingy ones at that. And so I kept my good humor about me, but my good humor was slipping. I got to see the judge by 1 o'clock the next afternoon, and of course, very shortly thereafter, released, and with a court date. And when I had to go in to see the judge, they had to take you from the holding tank where they had you with all the other guys, all dressed in orange as well, over to a cinder block room with locked doors and guards all over. The judge on a TV set, closed caption TV or closed circuit TV, but they had to shackle my wrists to my waist and shackle my feet. And I said to the guard rather jokingly, I said, "Is this so I don't jump through the TV and attack the judge?" I said, "This is kind of silly, don't you think? I think it's all for show." So anyway, all that took place. The strip search, the orange, the shackled, all because I missed a court date. And I found out I missed the court date because they sent all the information to a wrong address. And there was no forwarding address. And of course, even though they had my phone number, they had my email, even though they had the wrong address. I don't know where they got it, because they picked me up at my house. They had the wrong address on all that stuff. They don't send out a notice. They don't send anybody out to knock on your door. They send somebody out to pick you up and put you in jail. So I spent the night in jail on that. And that's the old part of the story. That was in August. And it wasn't until December 21st was when I finally had my third hearing on this thing. One hearing is just to let the judge know if you're guilty or not guilty. Can't say anything. They don't want to hear a damn thing you have to say other than "I'm not guilty." Then a hearing on an attorney after that. Then the hearing to come in with the attorney, which I went in for that hearing on the 21st, and the attorney said, "I think we can get this whole thing dismissed." And he went in, and he said, "How about we'll set up a trial date." He says, "And you can get a trial by jury." He says, "They don't want to do that with all this. They just want people to pay a fine. This is how they make their money." And so I said, "Fine, let's sign up for a trial date. I'll do a trial." Well, then he talked to the district attorney after that, calls me up on the phone later in the day and says, "The district attorney said, I told him the kind of guy you are. I met you, what you're all about, that I don't think." And the district attorney, by the way, the district attorney's letter, I got to tell you this, folks. It was sitting right here. Got it all in this envelope. You would be interested. Now, this has nothing to do with getting lost. We'll get there. But the district attorney's letter said this: in this, Greg, he says, that's my attorney. Okay, there's the district attorney's letter. He says, Greg, in this incident, I charged both people who were involved. I don't have kids, but my read of the report, it seems like everyone was acting like a child in this. Will give the same offer to you that I did to the other party. Complete an 8-hour online anger management course, and I'll amend to a DC ordinance. I don't know what DC is, for $295. Here's the link to the course, blah, 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 so-and-so, assistant district attorney. I said to my attorney, I said, I shouldn't have to pay a dime. I'm not going to pay $295 for nothing. I said, you tell the district attorney, I'll take a jury trial. Thank you very much. And so he gets back to me after a couple hours, and he says, well, I got to talk to the district attorney. He said he'll dismiss the whole thing, no fee, no fine, if you'll just take the 8-hour course. And he said, I just recommend take the 8-hour course and have done with the thing. I said, I just do not want this on my record. I do not want on my record that I had a disorderly conduct. He said he'll dismiss it if you take the course. Fine. Okay. So I'm taking the course. I'm like 6.5 hours into it. And I got to tell you what, once it's dismissed and it's over with, I have a hefty article I'm going to write for the local newspaper on the way this whole thing played out. Small things in the grand scheme of things going on in the world today. But to me, this is something where the whole system is set to not be for the citizens, but for the court system. They're the ones that profit. They're the ones that get ahead. And I'm not big on that stuff. I'm not big on, the court system isn't a profit. You know me. So I have a problem with the whole way this thing was handled. And I have a huge problem with the fact that I went to court 3 times and never once did I have a judge hear what I had to say about it. But I'm still having to do shit because of it. So I have a problem with that. My lawyer joked around with me this morning when I was talking with him about it. And he says, are you angry? I said, this anger management thing really pisses me off. So there you go. There it is. Spiritual best. Oh, test, Scotty. Maybe. Who's throwing the test at me? Who's testing me spiritually by having this kind of crap go on? And it's dumb. It's dumb, and it gets even dumber. There's I am paying for, because went and saw an attorney. Attorney wanted, get this, $6,000 on the low side, $9,000 on the high side to fight this. And I said, are you kidding me? So I don't have $6,000 to $9,000 to spend. I could have just as well paid the $300, but then it would be on my record. I said, I don't want it on my record. I don't deserve to have this piddly little pissy thing on my record when it's not true. No wonder people get railroaded in court. So I got a court-appointed attorney. There's different kinds. There's one that they appoint for you because you're destitute and you can't afford it. Then there's one they say, look, we'll help with the payments. We'll get you the attorney. You got to pay X number of dollars per month till it's paid off. So they did that for me. Well, I didn't know when that kicked in, and I went the month of January without paying anything to the court because I hadn't seen any bill come in or invoice or what am I supposed to do with this? I found out, my attorney called me Saturday morning and said, oh, by the way, I got to let you know, there is another warrant out for your arrest because you didn't pay the first month's payment with this. I said, and it was $100. I said, you're kidding me. I said, they put out another warrant for me? He said, yeah, just pay it and call them on Monday morning. So I did that this morning, and I called and I asked the person, I said, look, clerk of court's office, I said, you're not in charge of this. It's not your fault. I said, but you're the person I'm talking to. I said, I got to tell you, between you, me, and the fence post, I said, I wish that people who owed me money, like $100, and they're off on a payment, that I could just send Knuckles out to pick them up and drag them into my jail, so I can get the money out of them. I can extort money out of them by taking away their freedom. I said, don't you think this is a little nonsensical for what this whole thing is? And on top of that, I didn't even talk about the merits of the case. Something that's going to be dismissed. And this is what I get out of all of this. Every little single bit of this is something that came out of something that should never have happened. Not me never having talked to the mom, but the court system treating what I did as if it was criminal. That is where I have a problem with all of it. So there's going to be a nice, articulate, professional editorial written to the newspaper. We'll see if they publish it or not. Once this is all done, hopefully in just a very short period of time. I'm supposed to appear again on the 21st of this month. Hopefully, my lawyer said we won't even have to appear. You get this 8-hour thing done, and it'll be dismissed. That hasn't been a big problem off of my teeth. Frankly, I'm going through the whole anger management thing. Do you know how much it's like? So far, there haven't been any questions and answers. It's just been reading. You click from page. It's like a paragraph per page. 116 pages. And then, like my lawyer even said, he said, just turn it on and keep flipping the pages and do your other stuff, which is basically what I've done. But I've skimmed everything that's there. It's like reading a self-help book on anger management. The first thing I had to do, folks, was admit to myself and the world that I, fill in a blank, it says, fill your name in here. I, Scotty Roberts, have a problem with anger management. So I said out loud, I, Scotty Roberts, have a problem with anger management according to the district attorney. And I have to do this. So I don't know what's going to happen at the end, if I have to do a write-up or something or whatever. We'll see. But it's just everything I have read in there so far sounds like things I used to teach when I was in ministry, things I have taught on this radio show, because it goes far beyond just anger. It's going into knowing yourself. It's going into being awake almost, that kind of talk. Everything I've read in there was just like that. And I had Rainey down here, and I'm skimming through. So I said, listen to this. It says, da, 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 da. She goes, oh, that's the stuff you talk about on your radio show. I said, yeah, it is. So we'll see if I have a paragraph I have to fill out at the end or anything. It might just be doing the time, breaking my rocks in my striped suit metaphorically in order to not be charged with this. And what a dumb thing it is to begin with. So there's the long, quick story of it. I've used my first 25 minutes talking about that. But let's take that and let's segue it into what does this say? Rudy Dog says, I hope they publish it on the front page. It's ridiculous what our government system gets away with. Yeah, I agree with you, Rudy. We'll see. We'll see if I make it articulate enough. You let me know if you think I can be articulate enough to write something on this. So yeah, it will be BS idiot past proof. It will be BS idiot past proof. I'm not sure quite what you mean by that, Sean Stroik. So they should have made you write it on a blackboard. Yeah, 100 times. Randall, that probably would have been more effective for the kind of crime this is. So let's start this show in official now. Scotty Roberts here, crime lord in Somerset, Wisconsin. Let me take a drink after that. It dries my mouth out. Good cool water. So how can we look at this and say it's good to be lost, to be found? Now, I haven't been lost in this. I thought it would be the morons can pass it. Yeah, there you go. I thought it would be good to I was going to look at the 5 principles of shamanism that solve real world problems. And this is all about knowing how to get lost first in order to find yourself. So let's take a look at this. Why it's okay to feel lost and how to find your way again. I got to put on my glasses to read my notes here, but do you ever feel lost and alone? I haven't in this particular situation. I didn't feel lost. I didn't feel alone. The only thing that made me feel lost was dealing with a bunch of people that are used to just dealing with criminal people or dumb people or people who have nothing and they're always trying to survive by skirting the law. I was there in the midst of it, a little confused about what way to go, how you're supposed to act. My attorney, the only thing my attorney did that was very good for me was tell me, don't do this, let me take care of that. And he was very good at it. But do you ever feel adrift, confused about which way to go on things, what direction to take, how to proceed? Do you long for something more, but you have no clue what's missing in your life? I need more, but something's missing that I can't put my finger on. That kind of thing. Maybe you're not really miserable exactly, but you're not animated and in love with life either. Your circumstances might even look pretty good from the externals. But on the inside, where the truth resides in you, you're bored to tears. You're unfulfilled. You're restless. All of these things. Oops, sorry, I just hit my sound button and I didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to get a little tiny bit of feedback there. Sorry about that. But these are the things that make you feel miserable. You're stuck in a painful place, silent. You're silently suffering. And trust me, I know what that feels like. I've been there. I don't feel that I'm there now, but there are things I definitely have no answer to that drive me insane. So you have pigs in space. Are you talking about the echo I had just now? Field guy? Claudette says, we aren't living to the best of our ability. There's so many boundaries stopping us. I agree. Sarah Yusuf says, whenever I'm lost, faith steps in. In being lost, you're dealing with the unknown, Sarah says, and learning a bit more about your complex self during the process. Steph thought that was the voice of God chiming in. We used to do that on radio. A guy used to do radio with. We would step in and we'd say, this is God speaking. So that's what the echo can do. Let's turn that off. So I would do that with the guy I would do radio with. I would be his conscience on some things. And this was pre-Rocky. This is way back. The ayahuasca is kicking in, says Jason. No, wait, that's Scotty's sound. Not all who wander are lost, Rudy Dog, says Michelle. And that's very true. Not all who wander are lost. But for decades, many people just go about trying to just ignore the disturbing aspects of their life. They become good at distracting yourself with routines, with habits, and things that brought you this kind of outer sense of peace, but it's all superficial. And some of those habits even turn into addictions that you have to overcome. But with no real sense of identity or direction, there's people do as they're told. They stay on the periphery of things. They focus on giving others what they think is required of them to give. And then you become so weary with your soul-crushing job your soul-crushing activities of life, and so depleted by not honoring your true nature that you feel like you die a little bit if you don't make a change. How would you honor your true nature when you don't even know who you are or what you really want or where you really want to go? And how would you honor yourself? A lot of people lose their way in life. And when I said decades, keep in mind how fast time goes by in life. When I look at myself at 63 and I look back 40 years, I've been doing what I've been doing for work 40 years ago and more. I say, wow, it's half my life. If I live a normal lifespan, more than half my life is gone. That's how fast the decades go by. And there's a lot of people that wander through life never knowing what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to be. Oh, Scotty says, Claudette, when I lived in Florida back in the 1980s, I was arrested and taken in because my ex-husband didn't pay a dog tag fine. Why does the government have the ability to take away somebody's freedom over something so infinitesimally, ridiculously small? But they can take away your freedom for it. That's scary. I said to my lawyer today, I said, keep in mind, it's a totally different context, totally different story. I said, but being pissed off about things is why the American Revolution took place. And then we got to talking about constitutional rights and stuff like that after that. But I said, you get people pissed off enough. Do they need anger management? No, they need to have things stop being done that just piss off people for no good reason. So why is it okay to feel lost? It means something better is waiting for you somewhere else or outside of where you are is what I mean by somewhere else. Feeling lost doesn't mean you're doomed or that your life is hopeless. It simply means that something better is waiting for you. Maybe you've been conducting your life based on what others believe is right. What others believe is right. And you lost sight of what you really want. I'm not talking about becoming an anarchist, by the way. It's not how I mean by this. But maybe you've been valuing the opinions of others over your own inner knowing of things. Maybe you've been spending way too much time with people who drag you down rather than lift you up. These are all behaviors that sooner or later are going to lead to discomfort for you. And they're all signs that something new and much more suitable will ultimately happen if you let it happen. Don't let it drag out. It's like my mantra, 20 years from now, you'll regret more of the things you didn't do than you did do. Think about that for a second. Do you want to get 20 years down the road and say, I never took care of that thing. I never bettered that situation. I never did the thing I was going to do. And then you live regretting that you never did it. That sucks. To put it lightly, in light vernacular, I'm not really making fun by putting it that way. That is really unpalatable for life. Could you imagine living a whole life and realizing I've never done the things that I should have been or could have been doing that would have been better for me? And there's no way to redo them. So getting lost is an opportunity to rekindle your curiosity. Remember the sheer joy of discovery that you experienced as a child when you learned things just because you were curious? Oh, if I squeeze a milk pod, it'll squirt that milky, sticky substance all over me, or it will produce seed pods that float on the air. It's the first thing that came to mind. Since when I was a kid, I remember learning those kinds of things. Discovery, appealing to curiosity. Well, you can keep doing that as an adult. Did you know that? And it can be just as much fun and just as satisfying. Yeah, the plant, milkweed pod, Sean. Um, Improvement, genuine curiosity, the persistent pursuit of understanding that which leads to awareness and improvement is an invitation to look into something not only with your mind, but also with your heart, with your soul. Asking a lot of questions sparks interesting ideas, creates all kinds of connections. It opens up more options and opportunities. It gives you a chance to reconnect with who you really are. Many of us have struggled to conform to our environment or life, our life roles especially, and we've lost sight of who we truly are. Feeling lost is an opportunity to slow down the hectic busyness of your life. Listen to your heart. Discover what matters most to you. You can take time to rediscover your natural talents, the elements of your personality that have always been there. You can identify your deepest needs, your values, your wishes. The more you understand yourself, the easier you can detect what wants to happen next. How about that? I'm looking at this. Michelle Canafrio is wonder is the heaviest element in the periodic table. It stops time. Is wonder in the periodic table? Roxette? Um, Field Guy says, I'm just waiting for the next life. Why? Why not do something with this one? I have to dye my stash orange to do what? What do I have to do when I dye my stash orange? I missed the context there, Sean. I'm missing something. So I got to do something at a metaphor at Scotty Roberts. Because this one is shot, says Field Guy. Hey, shot down at 40, 37. Oh, man. You gave it your best shot there, Field Guy. Come on. Seriously, I don't think you're serious about that. I really don't. This life isn't shot. Are you dying or something? And if you are, I'm just guessing, so it's not trying to hurt any feelings or anything. I doubt you're dying in that sense, but your life's not shot. So remember we talked about adventure the other time? Life can be turned into an amazing adventure, as we talked about on Friday. We humans have this strong need to control, to fix, to influence everything around us. And the problem with thinking we know all the answers and trying to manage outcomes is that we end up shrinking or getting stuck in place rather than growing. Feeling lost and confused isn't meant to stop you in your tracks. It's meant to beckon you toward forward along a path intended that especially for you. Venturing into the unknown territory can have this enchanting sense of possibility and freedom to it. Life is meant to be an adventure in becoming, a, if you will, a blossoming into who you're meant to be. The most excellent adventure of them all. So, how do you find your way again if you're lost? If getting lost is the way to do that, if adventuring into lostness is the way, how do you find your way back? Number one is remember that you're not alone. We've all struggled at one time or another in not knowing who we are, what we really want, or where we're headed. Lessen your discomfort by reaching out to a friend you trust for empathy, gentle listening. Reach out to the friends around you. Do you have friends? Do you have friends who know things? Do you have friends who can be a help that maybe you know things and be of help to them as well? It's kind of funny with the adventure show last Friday, with all the tarot reads that I'm doing. I draw cards, I shuffle and draw cards randomly. And all the ones I've been doing over on my TikTok, all are kind of dealing with these kinds of issues, of getting lost and finding yourself, relying on those around you. Air guitar noises, excellent, says JP. A good friend can serve as a sacred container, especially during life's transitions. Through dialogue, through honest sharing, friends can offer a higher level of insight together. Also, remember that we belong to a larger universe. It supports us and is in an unwavering source of unconditional love, wisdom, and healing. I'm not talking about necessarily the physical universe and its entropic expanse in from nothingness into nothingness. I'm talking about the spiritual side of the universe, that aspect of the universe that's all working together or orchestrating together. God, faith, those things that are all part of that. Use prayer or any practice you enjoy to build your personal connection, like Sarah Yusuf was saying, to your higher power. And this reliable connection can stabilize you during times of uncertainty. Kneel before Zod, says Field Guy. That's a great way we look at things. We have to make light of them in order to deal with them. I have my issues with prayer. I have my issues with faith. But as I say so many times, I also do not throw out the baby with the bathwater. So sometimes you have to stop and look at things. Michelle Cannon-Free says mustard seed. If you have the faith of the grain of mustard seed, you'll be able to move mountains. So said Jesus himself. Practice calming your mind and your body. It's 44:44 just now, I just noticed on my clock. 44 minutes and 44 seconds into the broadcast. So, deep breathing, meditation. We've talked about meditation. Maybe we need to revisit that because I know I need to revisit that. What's it mean to meditate? Field Guy, do you meditate? Do you spend time alone? Just a few minutes a day. Focusing on what you need to focus on. Meditating, clearing your mind. Focusing on clearing your mind. Deep breathing, quiet time in nature, yoga, journaling, arts, crafts, exercise. These are all proven ways to increase well-being. Choose something that works for you and do it every day. And by the way, in my anger management course today, it talked about meditation and journaling, believe it or not. Things we've talked about on this show many times. So stillness and silence are especially nurturing. And you can keep it simple. Try the following short breathing exercise. Close your eyes. Focus your attention on your breath passing in and out through your nostrils. You can even smile as you breathe. Within a few moments, your whole body will start to relax, believe it or not. Several times a day, take 60 seconds to do this. That's all. Just a minute, 60 seconds. Allow your breath to take you to your quiet, calmer center. Boom. Emo practice promotes belly breathing, says Sarah Yusuf. Elmo, not emo. Elmo. So, in the attitude of silence, the soul finds the path to a clearer light. That's what Mahatma Gandhi said. And what is elusive and deceptive resolves itself into crystal clearness, he said. There's also the whole And you recognize this: the explore, dream, discover. Reawaken your curiosity, your childlike sense of wonder and openness. The world is a fascinating place. I went out to dinner with my daughter Rowan earlier this evening, and she kind of hoodwinked me into taking her out to dinner. So we went out to dinner, and we got to talking. We talked about my grandfather's island, which down in Honduras, which I've talked about before, and she never knew about it. Talked about it. I talked about visiting the little villages there on the island, very third world, and what it was like, and how unique it was, and how good it was to learn things that I hadn't seen before. The world's a fascinating place. There's so many interesting things to learn about. Look around for inspiration and new interests. Stretch out outside your comfort zone. Bang the drums, like Steph said. Loud, thundering drums from a hard rock song is a peaceful place to get lost or lose myself. Now that wouldn't work for me, Steph. That works for you. You like that. I need something different than that. Give me bagpipes. I'll do it to bagpipes. Stretch out of your comfort zone. Try new things. Try meeting new people. Try understanding things from a different perspective than what you live. Field guy. Why don't you save up a little money, just a little, get a backpack, go travel the world. Write a book. I traveled the world on $3 a day. Hitchhike around the country. Do something. Expand yourself. Use curiosity for self-understanding. Ask yourself meaningful questions. And write about, to draw, paint, or make a collage in your mind of everything around you. Here's some questions that can get you started on this. Okay, everybody, ask yourself this question. What is something I've done that I'd love to do more of? Now, along with me, you could probably come up with some pretty flippant answers. We can come up with the goofy answers. We can come up with the sincere answers to that question. We can be comic about it. We can be dead serious about it. But get down to the real of it. Get down to the real of it, no matter what it is. What is something I've done that I'd love to do more of? Ask yourself that. Number 2, what do I want to learn? What skills do I want to master? Ask yourself that question. What do you want to gain by it? What do you want to do to expand yourself? To expand your knowledge and your education, your self-education? What skills would you like to be better at? Number 3, what do you know, or ask it personally, what do I know but don't yet live? What do I know but don't yet live? What's the thing we know but we don't yet live it? Number 4, what have I been avoiding that needs to change? That's the big one. Ask yourself, what have I been avoiding that I need to change? Then, of course, 5, maybe it sounds a bit cliche, but what could I do to make the world a better place? And it might not mean that you answer all the questions of civility and government and peace and safety around the world. It might just mean, what can you contribute to life, society, that's going to help make it better? Those are questions you can ask yourself. What's something you've done that you'd love to do more of? What do you want to learn? What skills do you want to master? What do you know but haven't yet lived? What have you been avoiding that needs to change? And what could you do to make the world a better place? Think of those things. Michelle Cannon-Free says, people fear change, yet it's the only constant. That's paradoxical. Life changes all the time. Access your authentic power. That sounds so psychobabbly, so new age babbly, but access your authentic power. What does it mean to be a truly powerful human being? In the words of spiritual teacher Gary Zukas, he says, authentic power is energy that is formed by the intentions of the soul, and you are only as powerful as that for which you stand. So ask yourself, what do I stand for? And listen to your heart. You might also ask, who do I want to become? I've asked myself those questions. I've stood and said, what am I? Who am I? And what do I stand for? It's okay if the answers don't come right away. Just keep asking and listening for as long as is necessary. It's going to be worth the wait. It's going to come to you. You're going to be able to figure this out. And because the answers to those vital questions are going to reveal the very best you, the strongest, most generous you that can ever be. So remember that no matter what your circumstances or how lost you feel, you have the power to choose your direction and how to use your energy. That's just kind of right around the corner. One fine day, you're going to wake up from the confusion, the lostness, to clarity. And until then, stand tall in your unique personal power. Trust that all is going to be revealed to you when the timing's right. You're moving, you're changing, you're growing at the exact right pace. Stay curious and be gentle with yourself. Don't be rough on yourself. Your something better is right around the corner, right beneath the surface. It's inspiring, it's surprising. So get lost in order to get found. Radio audience, we got to go. Join us back here in a few minutes. Live long and prosper. If I can get to the button fast enough.
The Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Hey folks, this is Scotty Roberts, and this is the Intrepid radio broadcast. I've been broadcasting for about 20 years now, covering such topics as science, politics, the paranormal, weird science, weird world history, archaeology, and the paranormal. Everything from ghosts to cryptids to creepy things that go bump in the night. So every week I bring you 3 new episodes. Come and join my channel and also be a patron to this site. So see the details below, and we'll see you here. Hey, folks, welcome to the Captain's Cabin. It's going to be a rather short one tonight. I see I've got Field Guy on the wing, so I'm going to bring him in because I've got to go tonight. But Field Guy, how you doing?
I'm okay. I won't keep you long. I'm not doing a filibuster.
I'm not gonna be very long tonight. I've got to short tonight, as a matter of fact. So, what's going on, brother?
Well, I wanted to show you something. I got that. I find these things at work a lot. I found one of these cards. It's
very Catholic.
Yeah, it's a Saint Helen. I don't know who that is, but somebody threw it in a shoe.
It's Helen.
So
somebody put it in a shoe.
Yeah,
nice.
It's the prayer to Saint Helens. I said, okay, lovely. That's how I started off my day.
Like the patron saint of walking or something, or
whoever Saint Helen is, Saint Helen better give me $1 million.
There you go.
But I found this weird-looking card. But yes, I'm always lost in the world of life. It sucks, and I'm waiting for the new one to pop up.
Well, make a new one happen. And I don't say that flippantly. As your friend, I would say if it was just you and I talking in private, I'd say, what is it that prevents what does prevent me from doing the things that I would like to do to make a better life for myself?
Money.
Now, obviously, with a family, I've taken on certain obligations that limit the things I might do when I was a single man. But what are the things that we do what can you do? What can I do to step out and say, I don't like the way my life is working. I know I need to improve. I know I need to do things here. What do? We just do it. I hate to use that phrase because it's been overused, but again, it's that 20-year thing. 20 years from now, you're going to regret not doing it now when you're older, and it's going to be even harder to do if possible at all. So you do it when you can. And when you have I've always said, what does it take to actually do something that we want to do? We get trapped in things financially. We get, there is that because you try to save money and you say, I've got a shit job and all I can do is work for enough just to make it. And then I got to move on. I can't even save to go do the thing I want to do. So how do you make a break? How do you find that thing to do something differently? How do you know what to even look for? That's where I say meditation. Meditate on it. Think about it. Talk to the people around you. Find out what is it I should be doing. And Sarah's in here too. Let's bring her in. So,
hey, Scotty.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Sarah.
I said hey.
Oh,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So, I mean, if I can jump in and sort of maybe semi-offer an answer to that question, a lot of it may be just overcoming apathy. Or even if it's, like, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Even if it's something that you don't like doing and you think you know what the outcome is going to be, you still do it. Because sometimes, life can surprise you into a new direction.
Yeah. I've got a full contingent here tonight when I wanted to end early. Hey, Jason.
Hey.
I agree with you, Sarah. That's a great way to look at it. Jason, what do you think?
I think, and this kind of leads into some stuff that was said just a little bit ago. When we're looking at change, or we're looking, what's that thing that's going to fix our lives, or Field Guy was like, more money. The one of the things, and this is something that I have learned through my own personal trials and tribulations, failures, successes, etc., and I continue to do, because life is a continual process. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things, really, in all of it is really having that real, honest conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
Am I doing the things that I should be doing that would lead to a better situation with work, having more money at the end of the month, having the kind of interactions and connections with people that I would like to have. And in certain regards, when it comes to deal with people, there's going to be people out there who say, "Oh, you're just selling out. You're not being your true self." And it's like, you can adapt how you do things and how you approach people without being dishonest with yourself. I mean, if it's somebody that you absolutely do not like and you can't stand to be around them, you can be honest about that. But there are ways to go about it that don't necessarily burn bridges, because you never know. Things may change, opinions may change. So I would say probably one of the biggest things that you could ever do is take that hard, cold look in the mirror and do that thing that none of us really enjoys doing. And that's asking yourself those questions and then answering really honestly.
Yes.
Basically, it's like self-therapy.
A bit. Yeah. In a way, it's self-therapy, but it's also, I would say, more so than self-therapy. It's more of like, just being honest with yourself, because we have a tendency to lie to ourselves about things.
Sure we do.
Just to get through the day, just to get through the week.
Yep.
And then once you've had that conversation and it's like, you know what, man, you really need to, you'd like to do this, but if you look at the books, you're spending $15 a day at Starbucks every day. Or, man, you'd really like to do this, but at the end of the week, you blow a quarter of your paycheck on shots at the bar with your buddies or whatever, or buy frivolous things, that you don't really need.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. I do. And then you have to take action on it. Once you answer yourself honestly and you really take a cold, hard look at whatever that is, tackle it honestly and actually put in the effort. And that's difficult. Putting in the effort is difficult, but no pain, no gain. If you don't do it, you'll never achieve it. And if you spend too much time buying scratchers and playing the lotto and hoping you get the greatest deal, or getting in on something or whatever it is, you're never going to get over those kinds of obstacles, because you keep falling into the same trap of things. If you keep hanging out with the same kinds of people that have certain behavior patterns that you fall into that aren't good to yourself, you know what? Johnny and Mickey they're pretty fun guys to hang around, but you know what? I'm kind of realizing the more I hang around with them, the more problems I'm having in other areas. And that's not what I want for me. It's having that honest conversation and then taking action is really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. And that's precisely it. I think it is. You've said it. Sarah has said it in so many words. I think we need to just, like I said during the show, those 5 things, you got to look at those things and say, where am I? What do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to go with it? What can I do? How am I my greatest enemy? How am I my greatest friend? Who are my friends? Who are the things? You start asking all these questions to say, and
the big thing too is when you ask those questions and you answer them, it's to take action, not beat yourself up.
See you, Rudy.
If you beat yourself up over it, you just dig yourself into a deeper hole.
Right. So you get into the mode of not beating yourself up. You get into the mode of saying, okay, this is what I've done. This is no longer acceptable for me.
Yeah.
This is the thing I'm going to move on from.
And that's good.
And that's a good thing.
Right. And sometimes it's baby steps. Sometimes it's just one thing a day. One little change here and there. And you know what? It's like sand in an hourglass. It starts adding up there. Yeah. As you're getting rid of bad habits, or you're making the small little changes, you're losing those stressors, and the positive things are building up. And it just takes making the decision and saying, you know what, I'm not gonna, and then follow through. And if you don't get it right first day you try it again.
It doesn't always mean we're going to have immediate success at that.
Right.
We
Exactly.
might get lost for a while in that, trying to make that work. And
yeah, the thing is, we're on God's timetable, he's not on ours. That's the thing.
there it is.
And to tie it sort of back into what Field Guy was saying earlier, I looked up I looked up Saint Helena. She was the mother of Constantine. So she
Yes,
through
yes.
that. So consider what her son
There she is.
Yeah, consider what her
Constantine.
son did, all the change that
John.
he's done to Christianity.
Right.
So
Constantine.
it just means, I mean, it could mean that, it's a birth of a change.
And Constantine also, toward the end of his life, had his wife and son killed, so they wouldn't take over his throne. So, and then he
Oops.
took baptism, the rite of baptism, at the end of his life, and figured that washed him clean.
Well, I mean, that only works if you have like true contrition. So
right. And I don't believe, my personal belief, take on theology, baptism doesn't do anything to save the soul anyway. So there you go. It was meant, even in Scripture, baptism was listed as the thing you do to show that you are aligning yourself with Christianity. It was an outward symbol. It was not it says right in the New Testament, it doesn't put away the filth of the flesh. It is an answer of a good conscience toward God.
And that's actually part of the reason why, look, I was baptized, confirmed, Catholic Church, all of that. Sure. I have not made a huge stink or any sort of pressure about my kids getting baptized, because the way I view something like that is you need to understand what you are devoting yourself to, and you need to comprehend everything in its fullest and in making that decision. To a lot of the stuff that you see happen, was things that come from the days of the church, when you could buy papal indulgences and things like that, and there was fear of death and childbirth more so than today. And I don't want my kid to go to hell because they haven't been whatever, and that's like purgatory is a construct. There's nothing in the Scripture that talks about purgatory. It's a Catholic construct. It's a dogmatic thing, which then you get into the whole thing of so what can hold true on earth, I so too will hold true in heaven.
Yep. And that's a stretch.
It gets interesting.
They're making a stretch out of something. So, well, anyway, as I said, I got to cut this very short tonight. So, Field Guy, I hope we were helpful to you.
You're not allowed to cut it short. Sorry, Scotty.
Yeah. Right.
Steph made a lot of sense to me in the chat room, so I value her advice.
She's great. So
that's why she'll be my future co-host on my panel.
There you go. Well, anyway, this was for me. This was for all of us to just to start thinking about stuff. I don't want to think that anything I say is grandiose here. I think it's the contribution of everybody that's here. And these are just ideas here, things to work with. So he's giving you props, Steph. Just go with it. So, guys, I hate to do this. I hate to cut it short. I have a couple of things I have yet to do that I made some promises on here. So I got to get out of here. But Field Guy, thanks for calling in right away.
No problem.
Sarah, thank you.
Take care, Scotty.
You too, Sarah. And JP, as always, thanks for being here, brother.
Don't thank me. Thank my recruiter.
Hey, you're welcome. Yeah, there it is. All right, we got to get out of here because I have to exit early tonight. Everybody, thank you for being here. We will see you again tomorrow for Robertson at 4 p.m, 5 Eastern time, and 10 o'clock London time. Then again here for this show on Wednesday evening at 9 p.m, 10 p.m. Eastern. And so that's all I got. I got that all in. Let's get out of here because I got to get out of here. Thanks for coming by. Live long and prosper.